pick
Sean Connery,
Sean Connery
is what people are going to click on, I think.
So then put him on the thumbnail. Who gives a crap?
He's not on the list.
It doesn't matter. We're on YouTube. It's all clickbait anyways. That's the whole point of a thumbnail.
Say rolling around, sitting on doves, count my hours high on shrubs.
So next time we'll go back with another video. I'm Strange Wang. He is Nate. Today we are doing top 5 spy movies in honor of the latest Mission Impossible film. He'll tell you how the top 5s work, and then we'll get into the video.
He's going to start with his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3-2, 3-2. Then we trade off number 1. So we also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher, we only talk about it once.
Personally, this list was super hard to make because the spy genre is not my favorite. I don't know about you, but these are our top 5 favorite spy movies. They might not be the best spy movies. And also, it was really hard because motherfuckers were saying things were spy movies when I didn't think they were spy movies. I know you said you didn't think some things were spy movies, so...
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I also want to do one per franchise.
Same.
Also didn't help that I've never seen a Mission Impossible film in my life. Not Mission Impossible.
James Bond.
007, James Bond.
Yeah.
Never seen one of those films in my life. And yes, I have a YouTube movie channel. But he's seen them, so get into it. Number 5 for me is going to be Secret Agent Cody Banks.
Nice.
I'm just kidding. It's not. It's really Spy Kids.
Cap.
I'm just kidding. Shout out to the thumbs, though. Number 5, last minute inclusion. It knocked off.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
Me and Anna watched Heat last night.
That's good.
And as soon as Danny Trejo popped on the screen, she said, "Spy Kids." And I was like, that's
Nice.
how you know Danny Trejo.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
sense. Logical.
That's probably the first time a lot of kids see Danny Trejo.
That was the first time I've seen Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I need to watch it again. But I did not. This one knocked off No Way Out, which has, like, spies being mentioned in the movie, but not really a spy movie. But this one has a spy, and it's the spy who dumped me.
Oh, nice.
It was on my list, and it was off my list, and it was on my list, and then you said something about it. I said, oh, fuck it, I'm putting it back on the list. It's just a really funny movie. Mila Kunis is great. She didn't know she was dating a spy. Comical. Shenanigans. That's what I like in movies. It has that rom-com element to it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Kate McKinnon, but she's alright in this movie, so that gives it also bonus points that she doesn't annoy me. Annoy me. There you go. That's why I keep him around.
For sure, Kate McKinnon is actively ignoring you.
Well, it's mutual. It's mutual, buddy. Annoying me for the entire runtime, so that's excellent. But just the whole spy dynamic, it puts her in situations where she's confused, and that adds comedy. And that comedy, I like it. My 4 and 3 are the movies where I was like, alright, there's meager spy elements to it, but there is spy elements to it, so I will count these in a lower spot. A lot of people had these as their 1, 2, or 3, but number 4 for me is going to be the 1960s Manchurian Candidate. I absolutely love this movie. It's so fucking thrilling, and thrills gets you invested, because when you have scenes where it puts you on the edge of your seat, you're automatically going to be like, oh my god, I need to... what's going to happen to this character? And that carries over to the next scene, and they keep ramping it up with these tense scenes. The Manchurian Candidate is basically a film about brainwashing. People come back from war. Frank Sinatra, he's the captain, the leader of the squad that comes back. They're all brainwashed. He's having nightmares about it, though. Spies will say, hey, your mission is to get these documents, kill this person. Word. I don't remember the word from it. They tell them a word.
Yeah.
And then I gotta kill motherfuckers or whatever, you know? They get brainwashed. So there is spies directing orders for, I guess, spies, brainwashed spies.
Sure.
To fill out these orders.
Spyception.
Exactly. So, obviously, with the nightmares, Frank Sinatra has to get to the bottom of it, and it's so intense and thrilling and puts you on the edge of your seat. I absolutely loved it for that. And then I read about this film because Frank Sinatra's not really a good actor, but he's super good in this movie. He's incredible. And it was a passion project of his. It went through hell to get this movie made. They finally got the movie made. And 62, I think. Or whenever it was. I think it was 62. To the point where Frank Sinatra had to call his buddy, John F. Kennedy, to pull some strings of saying, hey, we can use stuff like this, we can't use stuff like this, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because some of the characters are based on real people, things like that. Because it was a novel beforehand, but they like adapted it so it would fit, so it would be timely.
Mm-hmm.
And John F. Kennedy pulled strings for this movie to be made because Frank Sinatra and him were so tight. And then what happened next year? Frank Sinatra's friend John F. Kennedy gets shot. Seeing the movie, someone tries to shoot the president with a sniper rifle. And then the movie vanishes for like a decade.
So Frank Sinatra killed JFK? Is that what you're telling me?
Nah, but this is a good movie about that. It's just interesting. Like, the movie just disappeared because of that.
Yeah.
Because Frank Sinatra's like, my friend died. And this scene's...
potentially inspired it.
Well, maybe. But also, it's like, shows like the exact same thing happening almost.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like...
like how they couldn't show airplane crashes in movies for like 3 years after 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. So, he pulled it himself, Frank Sinatra. And then it just came out in like the 80s. So... interesting story, but fantastic movie. Nonetheless, I can't speak today. Nonetheless,
stop being stupid.
Incredible. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch it. I think because it was taken away for 10 years and then just slowly like put back into population.
Yeah.
It's not the classic that it should be.
Sure.
This has Hitchcock level tension in it, thrills. And because of that, I don't know why people haven't seen this movie. Way better than Denzel 1, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
They get 2000s with the editing and stuff.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
I don't, I wonder if 10, 15 years from now, I'll be able to look back at like 2010s movies and say, that feels so 2010s. Because 2000s movies have just such this clear, like, feel to them, And I really wonder, like, where we're going to go with that.
I think the internet kind of took that away.
I think it did. Like, I genuinely think that is. The MCU is also taking some of that away because they've kind of had to stick with the same tone for like 13 years now. So, but yeah, interesting. Number 5 for me. I absolutely adore these movies. I think they're hilarious. Number 5, Austin Powers, Goldmember. Specifically went with that one. I think it's the funniest. These movies are absolutely ridiculous, and I certainly understand why anyone would say that they think they're trash or don't like them, but I absolutely love them. They came about into the universe at the absolute perfect time for me to enjoy them. And there are plenty of movies that I thought were hilarious that I saw when I was a lot younger and they came out and then have rewatched as an adult and been like, oh my god, why did I like this when I was, 13, 14, 15, whatever. I rewatch, not like a hard rewatch, but I put on all the Austin Powers movies like once a year.
Really?
I don't know what it is about these movies, but I think they are hilarious. And they bring me a lot of joy. And I think a big part of it is that I grew up watching James Bond movies. I think it was TNT.
That sounds right.
Every July 4th, they had a 24-hour James Bond marathon. And I would stay up. School was out. I would stay up all night watching James Bond movies. And so I think that just kind of helps me love Austin Powers movies a little bit more. But you get Michael Caine doing some of the best work of his entire career. You get Mike Myers legitimately doing the best work of his entire career, in my opinion. Fuck Shrek.
Fun fact. Never seen those movies either.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would certainly recommend them, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those things where, like, watching them for the first time as an adult.
Well, I know all the jokes.
It just didn't work. But
it's one of those things like the James Bond movies. I know what the jokes were. If I was like, I don't really need to watch these. Because I know Shawty just pulls all those things out of his ass. I know about Fat Bastard. I know about Mini Me. I know all these big jokes.
So for a absolutely silly comedy like that,
they're funny.
They actually have. Well, they also have like a solid like plot line as well. Like it's not the best plot ever written, but it's like it's steady and they stick to it, and so it does have a cohesive story between all three of them as well, which makes it better in my opinion. But yeah, shit's funny. I think it's like 75% chance you love them, 10% chance you're like, it was fine, and then like 15% chance you're like, that was fucking waste of my time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did my math right there, but...
You know what was wasting my time? When me and these three guys tried to rob a bank. And I told the dude to get Mike Myers' mask, like Halloween the serial killer. And he comes back with Mike Myers' mask.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane.
Look at that shit.
Yeah.
Whack.
Alright, so my number 4. I thought about this one for a long time. There's no denying that it is in fact a spy movie, but every other movie on my list is like a much grander scale, where this is more so like based on a true event. It's a lot smaller, but it is in fact an employee of the CIA infiltrating a specific group of people. And I really, really liked this movie. A lot of people didn't like the very ending, but it worked for me. So my number 4 is Black Klansman.
I would kind of put that as a reach too.
How? It is literally about a spy. It's about 2 spies.
I guess. Their job's not to be a spy, though.
That is their job. That's what they're
undercover.
doing.
An undercover cop is different from a spy.
He works for the CIA!
Which is also why I left Tenet off my list. Because I felt like Tenet was also not really spyish. I saw it on the list, but sure, list. Do what you want. I was just saying.
That, like, could not be more of a spy movie. In that it is literally about spies doing spy things. They're just on American...
They ain't got no secret gadgets. They don't fuck no bitches.
Yes, he does.
They're not British.
You have to be British.
He fucks a bitch, not bitches.
Yeah.
No.
Well, James Bond only... Well, that's not always true.
He fucks bitches.
I would say most of the time James Bond only has sex with one person.
James Bond has 25 movies, so his body count is at least more than 25 on film. Like
yeah.
There's probably a scene of him dogging some girl out in the first 5 minutes, so then he goes on a mission.
If I had to guess, he's probably around the like 32, 33 on screen range.
God damn. That's a video.
Well, it's at least one every movie.
Yeah,
I mean, like...
That's a video. Who's got the most body counts in cinema? Highest body count cinema.
Yeah.
Stifler's mom might make the list.
Well, but it's like, do you only count on screen?
Yeah,
or if they give you a specific number on screen?
Yeah, like it has to be in the movie. Like Indy might make it. He's got 3.
Well... Yeah, I guess.
They were going to bang in that one movie, Temple of Doom.
I don't know. Honestly, Austin Powers is higher than Indy. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
What else?
Black Klansman. It's a movie about spies. They're spying on the Klan. And
the Ku to the Klux? Or the Wu-Tang?
The Ku to the Klux.
Okay.
The Ku to the Klux Klan.
Easy, James Stewart.
But yeah, it's really tense because he's black and they hate black people. So him and Adam Driver got to do it together. And it works. And Spike Lee's a pretty good director. And this was his first Oscar-nominated film since Do the Right Thing. For anything.
Wow.
Yep. I read that today and I was like... I didn't fact check it, so don't hold me to that. But...
Inside Man. I'm surprised I didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
It's got white people in it.
And Do the Right Thing didn't even get nominated for Best Picture. So
of course not.
Black Klansman was his first Best Picture nomination.
Fucking honky is
This movie's really fun. It's also like really tense at times, and it really got me invested into it, and I dig it. So, there you go.
That was your 4?
Yep.
Cool. Number 3 is going to be North by Northwest.
That's not a spy movie.
It is too.
No, it's not. You're going to sit here and try to tell me a movie that's actually about spies isn't a spy
30
movie?
minutes.
But about a guy who's just in the wrong fucking place at the wrong fucking time is a spy movie?
The last 30 minutes is definitely a spy movie. The agency approaches them. They're like, hey, you got our fucking agent in trouble.
Because they had to.
So there's still agencies in it.
He's not a spy. They didn't hire him. He just plays along.
Because they had to. He's got a personal vendetta against you because they've been trying to kill him. They sent him out to a goddamn cornfield and shot at him in an airplane. They put him through all this hell. He was having dinner with three businessmen. Not one, not two, but 3 businessmen.
3 of them things?
That makes it a spy movie.
And he had to leave them in a very rude fashion to go on this little rendezvous because the agency fucked up. I'm not saying they're a good spy agency because they made a big boo-boo, but they're a spy agency nonetheless. And Cary Grant goes in there and he helps out and gets the job done with the help of the woman that I forget her name at the moment.
Who is an actual spy.
Who is an actual spy, but she's also not a very good spy. But it's a spy movie. It's thrilling. It has that comedy in it, that's subtle, that doesn't take away from the tension in the film. And because of that, you don't know what's going to happen next. There's so many twists and turns because you're confused as much as Cary Grant is. And the spy movie is happening without you knowing you're watching a spy movie until it hits, and that's also another twist. And it just makes for a thrilling, exciting, comedic movie that doesn't step on its own toes to have all those elements in there. The last scene is super thrilling when they're going through the Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. Also, just Hitchcock as a director is going to do wonders with anything he touches. Notorious was one I was trying to watch before we made this list, but I just couldn't find the time. 39 Steps was also another one he directed as a spy movie, apparently. Didn't have the time to watch that one either. But North by Northwest is the one I've already seen. It's great. I love it. It also has one of the best endings in movie history.
There's an excellent ending.
That cut from the mountain to the fucking
train
and to the train going to the hole because of sex. You can't do that in the 60s, so you gotta allude to it. That shit's John E. Blaze. The whole entire movie is.
So what does that mean about The Fugitive?
I don't remember any of those fugitives.
Huh? Well, you're just talking about trains going in holes, but that train just crashes.
STDs.
Oh.
Alrighty then.
I don't necessarily not think that North by Northwest is a spy movie. It's just I had 7 movies that I really wanted to put on my list, but we only do 5, and I had to think of some rule to cut them, so I just made it to where one of the main characters had to be a spy.
And also the big difference is you've seen Austin Powers, you've seen James Bond.
That's true.
You've seen the Jason Bourne franchise, even though neither of us really like it.
Yeah, that definitely was not. Also, is he a spy?
Yeah.
Like, is he?
Yeah. He's an ex-spy that the spies are trying to kill.
Well, he's not a spy.
Close enough. But you've seen all these franchises. You've seen Mission Impossible, so your list is probably harder than mine.
That's fair.
Number 2 on my list is a spy. And it's the best spy because, horse. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Who's as big as a horse?
He is. He's the strongest one, too. Is the spy in this movie is True Lies. He is a spy who is married, who has to hide that from his wife he loves and his kid that he loves to go on these spy missions. But he's just like a nerdy IT tech guy. And because he goes on these long missions and works overtime and everything to cover up that he is a spy and he's going all these different places. His wife feels lonely and neglected and is charmed by somebody else. Obviously with spy technology, Arnie thinks something's up. He taps into that. And she doesn't cheat on him, but she's like entertaining it.
Mm-hmm.
Which some people, that is cheating. So she says this one line to her friend when he's spying on her that he needs excitement in his life. She wants excitement in her life. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna put this girl in a fucking spy movie. But then the people he fucked over, they come back, and now him and his wife are both in this spy thrilling action that he has to save not only the world, but his wife as well. And the villains is 90s, so you know what that means?
One-liners.
Yeah, of course. But the villains have personality. The little side villains.
Do they ride a skateboard?
He rides a horse through a mall.
Okay, that's cool.
Schwarzenegger is the absolute best. I love Schwarzenegger to death. I probably love Schwarzenegger as much as his own mother does, which is probably unhealthy, and I need to see a therapist. And if you want to donate money so I can see a therapist, there's a thanks button underneath. He'll get his cut too. He'll probably, I don't know, save it for a house or something. But I need therapy. So donate money, please.
That's true.
But back to True Lies. True Lies is incredible. He is a spy. His wife has that dynamic. It's funny. James Cameron is a very good director, so it's very well made on top of that. And film has personality, and I think it's great. I'm very glad the TV show got canceled. And it also has Tom Arnold in it. Shouts out to Tom Arnold. He's great too.
Nice. My number 3 is Charade. You ever seen Charade?
Didn't have time to watch it.
Great movie. A lot of people refer to it as like the Hitchcock movie that Hitchcock didn't make, because it has a lot of his elements, and Cary Grant. So, but it's definitely pretty comedic at times, which, like, I think that's Hitchcock probably would have had a slightly more serious tone to it, and I don't think that would have been bad for this movie. But, well, shoot, now I don't want to spoil it for you, because to me that is an absolute classic. I think it shouldn't get talked about as much, but someone in the movie is a spy, but you don't know they're a spy until there's like 20 minutes left. And the gist of the plot is these 4 dudes were all at war together, and they found like a massive pile of gold while they were all at war together. And then so they were going to split it, but this one dude was hanging on to all of it and then never gave anybody else their cut. But then he died. And then so the other 3 dudes come looking for their cut. But a government agency hears about it, and someone has to make sure that the taxes get paid, for lack of a better word. And it's great. It's super charming. It's really fun. It kind of spans the globe a little bit. A lot of it takes place in Paris. Starts off in the Alps. Cary Grant, charming as always. Hepburn, charming as always. And it's kind of just them running around doing fun shit. It's quite a charade.
Kind of figured why that wasn't the title.
Yeah. One person in the movie has 4 different identities that you have to go through before you figure out who they really are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. Hence, people calling it like the Hitchcock movie that Hitchcock didn't make. There's a lot of twists.
Yeah.
But they're good. They're not like cheesy, corny twists where it's like some twists in movies, they happen and they like almost make you groan a little bit, you know? But very tasteful and charade. And then number 4 for me, I picked... there's going to be a Mission Impossible movie on my list. Did you take the whole franchise, or did you just take one? Okay, that's fine.
Taking one was best.
Okay, well, if you had, then I would have. But I have one specific one on my list.
It feels cheap.
And like in this situation, it does. I think there's sometimes franchises are like fair, but
because like you could have said 007. And you're talking about fucking some movies you haven't even seen.
At that point, you're talking about like 5 different actors.
Yeah.
And like,
so,
a bunch of different stuff. Anyways.
Yeah.
I picked Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which is the 4th Mission Impossible movie, because when that movie, the first 3 came out before I even like cared about Mission Impossible a whole lot. But when the 4th one came out, I was into movies, I was going to movies, and it was like an event. Like, people were talking about this. Like, at the time, it was this huge fucking deal that, like, Tom Cruise was fucking climbing the Burj Khalifa and like all this shit. And then I went and saw the movie, and I'm not gonna lie, the whole like fake face thing I thought was like a little too over the top. But
they do that in every movie. Not every movie.
no, not every movie.
They do it in a few.
Yeah, they do it in a few. I still think it's a little too over the top. But this was the first Mission Impossible movie that I actually like sat down and watched the whole thing, especially in a theater. And so like my dad had the other Mission Impossible movies like on where I watched TV and stuff, and I never really paid attention to them. But I definitely remember being a little kid thinking how cool it was when he comes down the zip line and then it snags, but then he just drops and it's like, because that's what he does right over the lasers. But yeah, also like one of my earlier introductions to like mild comedy blended with like serious action movies, and I really dig it. And so I picked Ghost Protocol just because it was kind of like the one that got me to even give any credit to the franchise. And then I still haven't caught up. Like I don't think I've seen the last 2 or 3, but going back and watching 1 through 3 was an absolute delight. And we talk about how we both really appreciate 2 all the time.
Yeah,
so
it's very, very good.
yeah, that was my number 2.
All right. Based on his list, I changed my number 1. My number 1's Django Unchained because they spy on Candyland to see if that
they
person's there.
Don't.
They fake their identities.
They're not government. Well, he's a bounty hunter, I guess. But
He has.
He's not a G-man, which was a thing that existed then. That
They
were
go
actual
on
government
missions.
spies doing government things.
They go on secret missions.
They don't go on secret missions.
They went on a secret mission to Big Daddy's house.
They infiltrate.
to kill the Brittle brothers.
That's a
and then they
weak
went on
ass
another
argument. You're gonna sit here. What were we talking about before? Well, we were talking about how before the video started, we were talking about how some of the lists on the internet have the Oceans movies on there, and this you were like, I could kind of see a little bit how it is because they do this, but not enough. And I literally mentioned a movie that is that entire thing that you said is a spy part of Oceans, where they are actually government agents, and now you want to argue me that it's not a spy movie.
Because
It's funny to me.
number 1 for me is Mission Impossible. I went with the first one because they pack in all the little spy elements and shit. And like I said, the only other 3 spy movies I've seen were Spy Kids, Cody Banks, that shitty Steve Carell one, Get Smart, that's what it's called.
Which is based off of an excellent TV show from the 50s, but...
Yeah, like I give a fuck. I understand that show. But Mission Impossible is incredible nonetheless. Brian De Palma is a shit director, but this is by far his best fucking movie. It's so tight and meticulously thought out. The tension is clearly heads over heels his best because he doesn't try to copy Hitchcock like he does for a lot of his movies when it comes to tension. Raising Cain to be an example. Ugh, that movie can suck a fat fucking toe.
Ew.
It takes it and morphs it into its own thing, and it just works. The talent in this movie is incredible. This is the only reason why Vin Rang still gets good sized paychecks because of this franchise.
That's true.
Simon Pegg doesn't come in on this one, but that's really the only time I see Simon Pegg when it comes to movies nowadays, is Mission Impossible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, fantastic cast. Tom Cruise, the lead. The tension of him just going down like this to type on a fucking computer to get a key.
Yeah.
Incredibly done.
Important key.
It is. All the hijinks that comes with the spy genre, they don't feel cliched, even though they are cliches. They feel like they were made and used with a purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like the source of the cliches.
Well, not Mission Impossible, but 007 kind of started them.
Yeah,
And Get Smart.
That's not untrue, but like, Mission Impossible is so much more like physical.
Yeah.
Like,
But you have the whole mask reveal and things like that.
Yeah, it's true.
They are used as a purpose instead of just thrown in there. Like, oh, you're a double agent, you shoot the guy on the bridge. Well, they just, we need a double agent scene because that's what movies do with spies.
No,
it's
that's true.
purposeful.
Yeah.
And because of that, John Voight also is in this movie. Again, the cast is incredible. But the tension in this movie is incredible. And to me, there's not another one like this one, which makes it seem so much special because it doesn't rely on the action. It doesn't rely on the crazy stunts. It's simplistic, straight to the point. Every scene is meaningful. If you miss a scene, you miss something important. It forces you to pay attention. And it doesn't really force you because it's so good to keep you invested.
Yeah, I agree.
To be glued to the screen for the 2 hour and a half runtime. And the second one, I love the second one. It's great. It's horrible, but it's great. The third one is great villain, easily the best villain of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Seymour Hoffman makes that movie so memorable.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they were just like, Tom Cruise was like, I got my own production company now, Bad Robot. I'm going to climb a building.
Right.
I'm going to
run through a sandstorm.
Yeah, I'm going to hang off this plane. So, those are cool movies. Those are great movies. Those are good movies. The first one is just so special because it feels more contained.
Sure.
And I love it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. I had something I was going to say, and I forgot what it was, but it had something to do with Heat again.
I thought you was putting Django Unchained on your list. Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret Ooze because they infiltrate Ernie and Raphael. They infiltrate the Foot Ninjas.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll remember it. I think I just really love talking about Heat. But
It's good.
yeah. My number one is going to be the James Bond movie for my list. I spent a lot of time debating about it because I like a lot of James Bond movies. In fact, there are very few that I don't like. I'm not a big Roger Moore guy, but he's all right. And I'm not a huge Timothy Dalton guy either. I'm definitely a Connery.
Connery?
Connor.
Who the fuck is Connor?
I'm thinking and talking at the same time. Connery, Craig, those are the best. A lot of the Pierce Brosnan ones are really not that good because they're just like a little bit too 90s and 2000s. But then there's my guy, whose movie I decided to pick, which is good old Australian George Lazenby. And why are you sighing? You've never seen any of these movies.
Because the thumbnail is now ruined. I have to go and remake a fucking thumbnail.
Do you think I was going to pick
Sean Connery is what people are going to click on, I think.
So then put him on the thumbnail. Who gives a crap?
He's not on the list.
It doesn't matter. We're on YouTube. It's all clickbait anyways. That's the whole point of a thumbnail. Just put all the James Bonds on there. Just make a little collage.
Fuck it. I'm putting Django on there.
Yeah, hey, I mean, people would probably be like, what? Yeah. So really what it came down to was, for me personally, it was between Goldmember and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Goldmember being Sean Connery and On Her Majesty's Secret Service being George Lazenby's. I think I just love it so much because it just very much so stands out. You would like it. He's basically stuck on this mountain with a bunch of like attractive women who are pretty much all trying to sleep with him.
Nice.
George Lazenby, to me, he just has a different kind of charm than all the other James Bonds. He's like a little more, like Connery is like, if you met this guy in real life, you would be like, I respect this dude, but he is like clearly above me or thinks he's above me. Lazenby's Bond is like, I want to have a beer with that guy. And it's also the only James Bond movie where he gets married and then they kill her.
Okay.
So it's just like completely, it just does so many things that every other James Bond movie thinks that it has to stick to, and it doesn't, while also having a very good story, a very good villain, a very good script. Technically like 8 Bond girls, and a really, really great ski. Like there's a, like spy movies are so known, like car chases are part of spy movies, right? This movie has a car chase, But it also has a ski chase.
Oh, you said Skeet, and I was like,
Oh.
what are we talking about? James Bond's just shooting Skeet
Oh,
for no
Skeet,
reason.
Skeet, motherfucker. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure he does shoot. Does he shoot Skeet in Goldmember? There's one where he does. He plays golf with Goldmember.
I'm surprised that's the reason it's not your favorite. Yeah, there's spy stuff, but he plays golf.
Yeah. But
he's James Bond, so he hit a 70, which is really fucking good.
I don't think they said what his score was, but he does beat Goldmember. But then he talks shit to him in the parking lot, and then dang, I'm about to get fucking Austin Powers' this parody character mixed up. One of them's named Odd Job, one is named Oddball.
Well, Odd Job was definitely 007.
Yeah. But yeah, he pisses him off, and then he fucking throws his hat.
Yeah.
That's like fucking heavy as shit.
But Oddball with a shoe.
That's true. Honestly,
Which is
who
heavy as
throws
shit.
a shoe? Oh man, I love those movies. Anyways, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, excellent movie. It's my favorite James Bond movie, so I made it number 1 on my list. But if I could just take the whole James Bond franchise, I would, because that's like quintessential spy movies, except for GoldenEye. Or
But that's like the best video game of all time.
oh man, what's the? I don't know. The Pierce Brosnan movies are just not many of them are very good, but that's it.
Alright, I didn't think we would be talking about spy movies for 40 fucking minutes, but it's a crazy world we live in. Let us know in the comment section below your top 5 favorite spy movies. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.